On April 13, 1743, Thomas Jefferson was born at Shadwell Plantation in Virginia, the third of 10 children in a prosperous family. The Jefferson family moved to Tuckahoe Plantation, where young Thomas developed his lifelong love of the natural world and learning. At age 9, Jefferson began classical education under Reverend William Douglas, studying Latin, Greek, and French with remarkable dedication. When his father died in 1757, 14-year-old Thomas inherited 5,000 acres and dozens of enslaved people, shaping his complex future. At William and Mary College, Jefferson studied 15 hours daily, absorbing philosophy, mathematics, and law under Professor William Small's mentorship. In Williamsburg's taverns, Jefferson witnessed Patrick Henry's fiery oratory, igniting his own passion for liberty and colonial rights. After 5 years studying law under George Wythe, Jefferson began his legal practice, taking on cases across Virginia. Jefferson began designing Monticello, his architectural masterpiece, drawing inspiration from Palladian principles and his vision of democratic beauty. At 26, Jefferson entered the Virginia House of Burgesses, beginning his political career as tensions with Britain escalated. Jefferson found his soulmate in Martha Wales Skelton, a wealthy widow who shared his love of music and literature. On New Year's Day 1772, Thomas and Martha wed, beginning a marriage marked by deep affection and shared sorrow. The newlyweds journeyed through a blizzard to Monticello, arriving late at night to an unfinished house with only wine for comfort. Their daughter Martha was born in September, the first of 6 children, though tragedy would shadow Jefferson's family. Jefferson penned a summary view of the rights of British America, boldly declaring Parliament had no authority over the colonies. As Virginia's youngest delegate to the Continental Congress, Jefferson arrived in Philadelphia as revolution loomed on the horizon. The committee chose Jefferson to draft the Declaration, recognizing his peculiar felicity of expression despite his quiet demeanor. In just 17 days, Jefferson crafted words that would echo through history. All men are created equal. Benjamin Franklin refined Jefferson's prose, simplifying sacred and undeniable truths to the more powerful, self-evident truths. For 3 days, Congress debated and cut nearly a quarter of Jefferson's draft, including his condemnation of slavery. On July 4, 1776, Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, and Jefferson's words became America's founding creed. Jefferson returned to Virginia, desperate to see his ailing wife and escape what he considered the drudgery of politics. In Virginia's legislature, Jefferson drafted revolutionary reforms, religious freedom, public education, and ending primogeniture to democratize society. At 36, Jefferson became Virginia's governor during the Revolution's darkest hours, facing impossible challenges with limited resources. Benedict Arnold's British forces invaded Richmond, forcing Jefferson to evacuate the capital as the city burned behind him. With British cavalry minutes from capturing him at Monticello, Jefferson barely escaped, his governorship ending in controversy and shame. After the birth of their 6th child, Martha's health collapsed. For 4 months, Jefferson never left her side. On September 6, Martha died at age 33. Jefferson fainted and remained inconsolable for weeks, never remarrying. For 3 months Jefferson walked the Monticello woods endlessly, emerging from his room only to wander in inconsolable grief. Seeking escape from grief, Jefferson accepted a diplomatic mission to France, taking his daughter Patsy across the Atlantic. Paris dazzled Jefferson with its sophistication, architecture, and arts, a stark contrast to provincial Virginia he'd always known. As minister to France, Jefferson navigated the elaborate rituals of Louis XVI court while advocating for American interests. Jefferson immersed himself in Parisian intellectual life, meeting luminaries of the Enlightenment and absorbing European culture. Jefferson fell passionately for Maria Cosway, a married English artist. Their romance ignited a rare emotional awakening. For 6 weeks they explored Paris together, gardens, galleries, concerts, in a romance Jefferson called the most pleasurable period of his life. After Maria's departure, Jefferson wrote his famous Head and Heart letter, debating reason versus passion in 12 pages. Sally Hemings, Martha's enslaved half-sister, arrived in Paris to care for Jefferson's younger daughter, beginning a controversial relationship. Jefferson witnessed the French Revolution's explosive beginning, sympathizing with liberty's cause while disturbed by its violence. Lafayette sought Jefferson's help drafting France's Declaration of Rights, applying American revolutionary principles to French soil. Jefferson left France forever, carrying sophisticated tastes, revolutionary fervor, and secrets that would haunt his legacy. President Washington appointed Jefferson as the first Secretary of State, placing him at the center of the new government. Jefferson and Hamilton clashed over America's future, agrarian democracy versus industrial finance, states' rights versus federal power over dinner. Jefferson brokered a crucial compromise. Hamilton's financial plan passed in exchange for placing the capital on the Potomac. Jefferson helped design the new capital city, envisioning broad avenues and Republican architecture for the Democratic experiment. Jefferson formed the Democratic-Republican Party to oppose Hamilton's Federalists, establishing America's first partisan divide. Exhausted by political battles and yearning for Monticello, Jefferson resigned as Secretary of State and returned to Virginia. For 3 years Jefferson played gentleman farmer, experimenting with crops and improved plows while avoiding politics. Jefferson became vice president under John Adams, his friend turned political rival, in America's first contested election. Jefferson secretly wrote the Kentucky Resolutions, asserting states could nullify unconstitutional federal laws like the Repressive Sedition Act. The election deadlocked in a tie with Aaron Burr, throwing the decision to the House for 36 ballots over 6 days. Alexander Hamilton broke the deadlock, supporting his bitter rival Jefferson over the dangerous Burr, whom he distrusted more. Jefferson walked to his inauguration as a common citizen, embodying democratic simplicity in America's first peaceful transfer of power. In a nearly inaudible voice, Jefferson called for unity. "We are all Republicans, we are all Federalists." After bitter partisan warfare, despite constitutional doubts, Jefferson seized the opportunity to purchase Louisiana from France, instantly doubling the young nation's territory. Jefferson commissioned Lewis and Clark to explore the continent, seeking scientific knowledge and a path to the Pacific Ocean. Refusing to pay tribute to Barbary pirates, Jefferson sent the Navy to the Mediterranean in America's first overseas military action. In 1804, Jefferson won re-election in a landslide, carrying every state except Connecticut and Delaware. Jefferson's Embargo Act, attempting to avoid war by stopping all trade, devastated the American economy and proved deeply unpopular. After 8 years as president, Jefferson departed Washington with relief, vowing never to return to political life. Jefferson designed the University of Virginia, his academical village, as his proudest achievement beyond